But at that time, we had not made any official decisions about what the field's name might be. And so we are thrilled to bring you here today to celebrate the naming ceremony. And I would love to introduce a faithful member of our community, Caroline Littner, to give us a few important words. So thank you.
I don't have a very big voice, so if you can't hear, just get closer, okay? So, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming out. This is such an important occasion. And it's my honor to talk about a woman who has been an integral part of the Tatnall community for 40 years. There is only one Anita Marcial, and she has influenced literally thousands of students in her time at Tatnall. And I'm just one of the many that benefited from knowing her. And I first met Miss Marcial in 7th grade in PE in 1977, I think. And I have to admit, at first I was a little bit intimidated by her. But as I moved through the grades and I spent more time with her, she inspired me through her coaching. Now, decades later, I'm fortunate to call her both a colleague and a friend. Anita served for 22 years as our athletic director. While in that role, she taught physical education, and she coached varsity field hockey and varsity girls basketball. As a coach of field hockey for 26 years, her teams won 240 times, went to 11 state tournaments, were second twice, and won the state championship in 1984. Additionally, while athletic director, she added various programs, the boys lacrosse, swimming, girls soccer, and ice hockey. And on an interesting side note is, before coming to Tatnall, she was the varsity volleyball coach at AI, and she took them to their first state championship, was the inaugural championship. So she knows how to raise leaders, that's for sure. In 2000, she assumed our first formalized position as the Director of Alumni Relations. And in this role, as many of you know, she has significantly impacted the level of alumni engagement at Tatnall. She established our Distinguished Alumni Awards ceremony. We saw that last night, which is a wonderful event. She's created the Parents of Alumni Association, Senior Chats, and established the Aletta Laird Downs Philanthropy Award. Significant additions to the Tatnall program. In addition, she added our 2 alumni chapters, one in New York City and one in Washington, D.C., to gather our alums in different regions of the country. And also, as you look around at homecoming here, almost everything you see has Anita's fingerprint. That beautiful white tent over there was not there years ago. It was her idea to bring that to campus, to add the Friday night party, to add the food trucks, the gift zone, all kinds of additions. So thank you for that, Anita. And finally, I know many of you have been to the alumni golf outing in the spring. And this is an event that not only brings alumni back to the area, but raises significant funds for our school. It started out by bringing in about $6,000 a year. Now it's up to about $56,000, which goes towards alumni, or towards the annual fund. So really very significant. It's only fitting that we name this beautiful turf field after Anita. In her leadership role as coach, she both inspired individual excellence and promoted team unity. The lessons learned on the field and the court helped me and other students navigate the world beyond Tatnall. How to lose with grace and how to win with humility. And she embodies the spirit of Mrs. Tatnall in all that she does, with her unique combination of high expectations, cooperation, and, as many of you know, humor. And I also want to note that there are 2 women who are with us in spirit today who I know are watching. First is Lucille Mahar, a loyal alumna, Thierry, a long-serving alumni council member and mother of athletes who are there. Lucille Mahar. So I know Lucille will be so pleased. And then, of course, the other is her mother, Anne, who was always so proud. So it's with great pleasure that we named this for you, Anita, and congratulations.
collect myself here.
Anita, while you're crying, can I say one thing?
Sure.
I'm sorry, and then I have to go, Coach, but I really wanted to say this about Anita. I've known her for 40 years. I'm an alum, but she came in the year after I graduated. I'm going to say this about Anita. She was always, in her time as a professional, one of the most traditional yet progressive professionals and colleagues that I've ever had the opportunity to know. She held every student athlete at Tatnall in the time that I coached against her to a very high standard. In 40 years, you could imagine the change in athletics, and Anita really stood her ground and maintained that traditional aspect, the old school style, but yet she kind of went along with the times and did the progressive things along the way. As a coach, I would say the same thing about her. She knew that the fundamentals and the tactics were the most important, yet she was always looking for a little piece of something to give her kids an edge in a game. But the most important thing about Anita is that she's got a tremendous moral IQ and emotional IQ. We had one game when I was at Wilmington Friends School. We came in, we were both 1-13. It was our last game of the season. We did not have bad teams. We just had teams that couldn't win and probably lost every game by 1 goal. And Anita said, Annie, I don't know if you'll mind, but I would like to march the kids out to the national anthem and make a big deal about them. It was one of the most memorable things in my coaching career. She's a tremendous person. I can't.
Oh, wow. So, normally I can pretty much speak off the cuff, but because today is so overwhelming to me, hope you don't mind, I have a few notes, but I asked people, since most people every day don't get a field named after them, so I wasn't sure how I should approach this. So, I've been given actually 2 pieces of advice. One was, be short and be seated. And the other one was thank everybody and impart words of wisdom. So I chose a combination of those, actually, if you know it. So in my thank yous, first of all I would really like to thank Chris Tompkins for allowing this to happen, and the Board of Trustees. You will hear me say this a lot up here, but it is an incredibly meaningful time for me, and I'm so overwhelmed by all of it. Secondly, I'd like to thank all of you who contributed to this beautiful field. Without you, it probably wouldn't exist, and I never thought I'd see it in my lifetime, actually. And I'd like to thank all of you who are here today in support of this. We were hoping at least 10 people would show up, but I had family here, so we knew we were close. So I appreciate that. My friends who are here, actually, and my colleagues, my family. My sister came in from Arizona, and my nephew and his wife, Deb. Larry Lincoln, who also came in from Arizona today. These people made long trips to be here in support of this. And I also, Caroline alluded to this. I'd like to thank a very special lady who's here in spirit and actually stopped the rain for us, so that's all great. I'd like to thank the coaches with whom I worked with over the years. Hockey is a team game, and it's a team effort all the way around. There isn't any one person that makes things happen. And then finally, the hundreds of players who also made this happen. Many of you are here today. I know the sign says Anita's Field, but it's really our field, because without you, this would never be happening. So that's my thank yous. Here's my words of wisdom, okay? When I was a senior in college, that's before there was chalk and blackboards, but I had a lady, one of my teachers, actually, in the physical education program, would always say, I can't was killed in the Battle of Troy. Some of you may remember when I used to post signs on your lockers and stuff, but I did that a lot. So my words of wisdom is, in any sport, the important thing is to try, to do your very best. Because always remember, you guys who have children and grandchildren, tell them this. You are never a loser until you stop trying. So thank you all again. This means far more to me than I can even tell you. Thanks.